All right, last video of today. And what I would want to do is go and start reading a book. But the previous video was, why is it people always want something inspiring? And it kind of like made me realize that we take responsibility for, when we decide to start taking responsibility for our lives, we kind of like only take responsibility for crap, for stuff that we don't like in our lives. But I think the same energy of responsibility should also be addressing the things that we do like that are inspiring in general. And I think we as well deserve to be inspired by ourselves, by our accomplishments, by all that stuff. Fuck me, man, this is beautiful. All right, this video is feelings are private and internal. Emotions in public are and observable. Heart pounding is an emotion. How you handle it is a feeling. Hi guys, let me start over again. Today's video is, I was probably high when I wrote this. Feelings are private and internal. Emotions are public and observable. Heart pounding is an emotion, How you handle it is a feeling. What am I trying to understand here? Now, I think I was around family when I wrote this. Because family is the true action. Family is the only place where you observably see yourself and see the mood you're in. And I think it's the whole like, whatever happens, we're going to be family. So you don't really have the whole like luxury of fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. Or at the very least, like in my mind, that's kind of like, it's the glue that sticks. And even if you peel the paper, man, the half the paper that had glue on it still is there, right? So like, you kind of like unavoid it. So feelings are private and internal, mainly because how you feel something is completely different than how other people feel it, even though it's the same feeling, right? Does that make sense? They're private and internal because like it's how you view the world. Naturally, I could use examples from like sadistic sides and masochistic sides. The reason I use those two is because like I wanted to include pain. Like some people hate pain and they feel bad, but the emotion is pain, right? Or the feeling is pain. If the emotion is happiness, I'm gonna get a paper my friend wrote here once. So once upon a time, I hung out with this chick. She was awesome until I became more myself. And the day I was comfortable just being myself, she took everything personally and started becoming all okay. So like the way she explained it is this: there are four, five. Where are the emotions? So by the way, this is literally it. Like I'm trying to read through the feelings. So emotions become feelings, amazing, because like emotions are public and observable, and when you an emotion is a response to the trigger, and the feeling is how you handle it, right? And so there's happiness, there's surprise, and there's sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. So there are like the positive feelings, and then or the feelings that everyone is okay with, and the feelings that everyone is not okay with. But so emotions kind of go to these feelings, but are these emotions? No, so I'm feeling happy. Happiness is not an emotion, it's a feeling. Okay, so I would want you to imagine that some people actually enjoy pain and some people don't enjoy pain. So the feeling behind the emotion of pain, right? Is it the pain is an emotion? I'm really confused when it comes to this one. So pain is an emotion. I'm taking pain as an emotion right now just to express like it could be a joyful feeling when you kind of like cut yourself, and it could be a feeling of horror when you cut yourself. Some people are actually like take they find joy in helping others, and while some people just kind of like find joy in the opposite. It's funny this way because like ultimately we decide how we want to feel. So our feelings are very much private and internal. So they're created by our own mental mind map or our understanding of reality or our acceptance of it, right? Like we get to decide how we want to see the world. And true, man, it's a lot harder. Though I've been saying this for a while, so I'm kind of like I've accepted it, and it's part of my belief system now. But I'm sure, like for people struggle, and there are a lot of things that kind of like stand in the way. But like the heart pounding is an emotion because it's a public expression, and I think I wanted to kind of split how like being triggered by an external factor or an internal factor, because it could be something that you thought of that makes your heart pound. But like basically that's an emotional response. And then handling it would actually, is it a feeling the way you handle it, or how you handle it brings out the feeling that you kind of like will end up feeling? So I think this looks better right now because like no feelings are private and internal because you're the one who's feeling, right? And emotions are public and observable because you kind of like it's a physical response. An emotion is a physical response. And heart pounding is an emotion, for example. How you handle it is a feeling. And I think at that point I was kind of like reflecting on maybe like a sense of anxiety versus love. And I've said it multiple times before, like you know, sometimes you meet people and you're kind of like excited, and sometimes you meet people you're calm. If you're calm when you meet them, that means you trust them, you're comfortable around them. If you're excited, that means you're kind of looking out for something or looking up to something. Because like I I wanted to use an example. No, I didn't want to use an example. What do I mean looking up to something? Because sometimes meeting people, you're excited because they're giving you some form of pleasure, right? And that emotion is basically just maybe they're being there gets you excited. Maybe you showing them something new gets you excited. Is literally a reciprocal thing that is very that feels transactional. Like any output of energy from me, it's because other people are there, is basically an output of energy to be received either by them or by something, right? Like there's, I have my cousin has a daughter, and she's amazing, but like she's a bit dramatic, just like toddlers are. I think like she's like 2 3 years old. Like all toddlers, she's dramatic. When her mom is there, her drama's different because she's kind of like putting out energy in a way for her mom to respond. And when her mom is not there, her drama is a bit more like on the shy side, as in like I don't want like to interact with you guys, or I'm feeling ashamed kind of thing. And I'm using that as an example right now just because like how she basically processes that emotion, the actual like whatever triggered her to like have that emotion that allowed her to feel some kind of way. So so how you handle your emotion is the feeling itself, isn't it? Because how you handle an emotion is genuinely the feeling you're giving it. So it's not like, for example, I don't know, let's pick something frustrating because I think frustration is always, if you're handling a frustration with care, then the feeling is care. That doesn't make sense. If you're handling frustration with aggressivity, then the feeling is frustration. What was it here? Should we actually seek anger, fear, sadness? So frustration, I think, is a bit more of an anger, kind of like mutated into something else. Oh, it says here that it goes into anxiousness. See here? Anxious, depressed. The flow, excited, elated is a surprise. Happiness, basically feelings, openness. I like that I actually have stuff like this to kind of like go back to and like remember how my train of thought changed. But so how you handle it as a feeling, I don't think that works here, man. I think how you handle the emotion brings out the feeling, but for some reason I wanted to write it. Because if I'm handling something and with happiness, if I'm handling frustration with happiness, then my mental approach would probably be pointing at the stuff that are, yeah, it really does. Like handling it is a feeling in its own. Because if I'm handling frustration with kind of like, I want to say resentment, fear, anger, sadness, or any of these, what effectively I'm doing is kind of like fueling the frustration to become more. But if I'm handling it with like excitement or surprise or like some form of happiness, then it genuinely bears the fruit of like, yay, I got over this, yay, I did this, yeah, I learned this from this. So it really is how we actually interact with our emotions. How we interact with our emotions is genuinely the feelings we have. Because how we interact with our emotions is genuinely how we feel. Because overall, if I'm feeling shitty, man, I'm going to interact with things in a shitty way. If I'm feeling good, I'm going to interact with things in a good way. And so the key is to kind of like realize how you're feeling and decide how you want to feel, I guess. And then handle stuff with how you would want to feel, because that becomes the feeling itself. And that builds your habit and that builds your structure. Lately, I've been feeling like I've been repeating myself, but in the words of Richard Feynman, who can teach, a person who can teach, who can explain something clearly to a 5-year old, has understood it fully. And it feels like I still haven't been able to, like, get like, I don't know, according to a person that I know here, man, to create the golden thread that kind of connects my thoughts. But hey, it's a video. If it got you thinking about something, let me know, man. I've been enjoying reading the comments lately and just kind of like considering a different point of view. So it's a video. Yay.